It's happening. The populist right is taking over Europe, and there's nothing the EU can do about it. Right now, as we speak, 10 European nations are systematically pushing Muslims out through policies so aggressive they had the bullies in Brussels openly panicking. And here's what they don't want you to know. This isn't some fringe movement. This is fully mainstream. This is government policy. This is happening at the highest levels, and the numbers will absolutely shock you. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor. I certainly hope you're all having a wonderful week, counting down to Christmas, the most wonderful time of year, and I got something that's going to make it even better for you. A number of articles have come out of late detailing the seismic political shift underway that's reshaping the entire continent of Europe as nationalist populist parties continue to absolutely surge from the political margins to the halls of power. It's an unprecedented wave, and it shows no signs of receding. As of 2025, 7 European Union member states, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Finland, Hungary, Italy, Sweden, and Slovakia now have what the legacy media refers to as, quote, far-right parties in control of their governments, which is just another way of simply saying that the common sense of the vast majority of European citizens is finally pushing globalist elites out of power. Some countries have made some compromises, like Sweden, the Sweden Democrats. They're basically like the MAGA party of Sweden. They support the government without holding formal positions, but they're in the positions of kingmaker. Nothing happens without their say. And in Austria, their Freedom Party came in first in their last election, but they couldn't quite form a government. But they've only increased their support ever since. In Germany, the Alternative for Deutschland is now the number one most popular party in the entire nation. So naturally, Berlin and Brussels are teaming up to do everything they can to ban them from politics. And in France, Marine Le Pen's National Rally has become the largest party in parliament and is polling in first place. So, of course, a court banned her from running for president. The globalist powers that be in Europe are panicked. They're doing everything they possibly can to try to brunt this massive rise of the right throughout the continent, but it's all for naught. What scholars are noticing is that the whole of European politics has shifted to the right, regardless of whether their patriot parties actually come to formal power. The trajectory, the political pull all throughout Europe is overwhelmingly to the right, and nowhere do we see this more than in their migration policies, particularly the massive surge in deportations that are happening all across the continent. Here are 10 nations that are currently deporting particularly Muslim populations at an unprecedented rate. The nation of France. There are an estimated 6 million Muslims, the largest Muslim population in Western Europe as of 2025 in France. Unfortunately, France has endured a devastating series of Islamist terrorist attacks. Between 2015 and 2021, France experienced 82 Islamist attacks, resulting in 332 deaths, making it the most terrorism-affected country in all of Europe. The Macron government, under pressure from the political right, launched immediate crackdowns after each attack, conducting dozens of raids on mosques and Muslim organizations, initiating mass expulsions, and dissolving Muslim aid groups. The message from the French government was absolutely unambiguous. Secularism, French secularism, is non-negotiable. Republican values supersede religious identity, and France will never, ever give in to Islamic extremism. The nation of Denmark took it even further. They implemented something called ghetto laws. Yes, that's the actual term. If a neighborhood's Muslim population crosses 30%, it immediately becomes a target. The government can demolish buildings, force relocations, and redistribute housing. Over 1,200 Muslim families have been affected by the implementation of ghetto laws. And get this, Denmark's Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, she originally campaigned as a liberal. She's more recently campaigned on a zero refugee policy. Let that hit you. I didn't say limited refugees. She is campaigning on zero refugees. Nada. None. They even tried to send asylum seekers to Rwanda, a country 4,000 miles away, to process their claims. I mean, the message is absolutely crystal clear. Denmark is closed. You're going to have to go somewhere else. Then there's the nation of Belgium. 8% of its population is Muslim, one of the highest percentages in Western Europe. Their approach, they're actually banning a number of Islamic religious practices. So in 2019, Belgium outlawed halal slaughter, arguing it violates animal welfare laws. But for Muslims, of course, this isn't about animal rights. It's about making Islamic religious observance legally impossible, which, of course, it is. That's exactly what they've done. And perhaps most stunningly, the ultra-liberal European Court of Human Rights, they actually upheld the ban. And if Belgium went after ritual practices, Switzerland has gone straight for their architecture. In 2009, 60% of Swiss voters approved a constitutional amendment banning new mosque minarets. Now, to be clear, they're not banning mosques per se, just their characteristic spires. Switzerland has about 400,000 Muslims living there, and they have exactly 4 minarets in the entire nation. The ban ensures there will never be a fifth. The fifth country in our list, Hungary, doesn't hide anything. Prime Minister Viktor Orban built a literal fence on the southern border to keep Muslim refugees out. In 2025, Hungary rejected, get this, 100% of refugee applications from Muslim-majority countries. Not 90, not 95%, 100%. Orban has long touted that he is a defender of the Hungarian civilizational Christian heritage from both the Muslim onslaught from the east as well as the liberal secularism from the west. And as a result, the Muslim population in Hungary today is barely 0.4%. Now, the European Union, of course, has condemned Hungary repeatedly. Orban doesn't care. He doesn't give a rip. And his approval ratings remain one of the highest among all European leaders. And his immigration policies are quickly becoming the policies of the continent as a whole. While Trump unleashes a political reckoning, there is another crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form, even in the comfort of our own homes. I'm talking about the microplastic epidemic. Now, you may have heard about this, but this is pretty shocking stuff. Check this out.
White ones, we've got clear ones.
Tons of microplastics wash ashore all over the world every day. And now for the first time, scientists in the Netherlands have detected microplastic pollution in human blood.
All the microplastics and nanoplastics we are exposed to, we inhale and we ingest, that actually, there's so much plastic that it can even enter our bloodstream.
The Dutch study on blood samples from healthy adults detected tiny plastic particles in 80% of people.
That's right. There's a microplastic crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form. They're in our food, our water, our meats, our proteins. In fact, according to a recent study, we now ingest 6 times more microplastics than in 1990. It's wreaking havoc on our health and on our organ functions, and unfortunately, no one is immune from this. But there is an amazing solution. There's a unique bacterial strain found only in kimchi that's been found to effectively degrade microplastics. In fact, traditional kimchi is one of the world's most powerful superfoods. But let's be honest, it's messy, it's strong smelling, and not exactly easy to eat every single day. So that's why our good friends over at Brightcore created Kimchi One. Now you can get all the benefits of premium fermented kimchi in convenient capsule form. No mess, no taste, no hassle. I've been taking Kimchi One every single day for months now, and gang, I love it. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains, live enzymes, and antioxidants that help restore balance in your gut. People are seeing improvements in digestion, bloating, regularity, energy, metabolism. Studies show that kimchi even reduces the risk of obesity. Kimchi One is all natural, non-GMO, and 100% made right here in the USA. It's completely dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, so just anyone can take it. I personally love it, and I love knowing that I'm supporting my gut and overall health in one simple step. So if you've been looking for a way to boost your immune system and remove microplastic toxins from your body, this is it. You can get 25% off your order by going to the link below, or for an even better deal, give them a call. My friends at Brightcart would love to chat with you, and they're going to give you 50% off plus free shipping. Call them at 888-597-0233. The first 100 callers to order are going to get a free bottle of vitamin D3. Again, you only get that 50% off and free shipping when you give them a call. So once again, that number is 888-597-0233. Austria regulates the money. They ban foreign funding of Islamic organizations and impose strict oversight on mosques. Now, the logic here is that if foreign governments can't fund mosques, then those mosques lose influence. Now, despite these efforts, the Muslim population is growing very rapidly in Austria, rising from 4.2% of the population in 2001 to 8.3% in 2021. So it's almost doubled. This demographic shift is most visible in Vienna, where 41% of children now identify as Muslim. Perhaps that's why the nation of the Netherlands, a country that once symbolized radical liberal tolerance, has banned hijabs and burqas in schools and public buildings. With the rise of Geert Wilders, whose Freedom Party won the November 2023 elections, the government escalated even more restrictions, proposing to extend the burqa ban to all public spaces, implementing a moratorium on asylum applications, deploying military forces to borders, announcing plans to deport all Syrian refugees, halting state funding for refugee accommodation, and even placing signs in asylum centers saying, "Here we are working on your return." But of all European nations, the most dramatic reversal has to be Germany. In 2015, Chancellor Angela Merkel infamously opened Germany's doors to over a million refugees from the Middle East and Northern Africa. Fast forward 10 years later to 2025, Germany has slashed Muslim immigration by 80%. Family reunification programs are frozen. Asylum applications from Muslim-majority countries face indefinite delays. Germany now deports immigrants for failure to integrate, a vague standard that gives authorities enormous discretion. The country's Muslim population is about 5.5 million, about 6.6% total population, but the welcoming spirit of 2015, gone. Greece has traditionally been the usual entry point into the continent for migrants from the Middle East and Northern Africa, but now, increasingly, it's the dead end. Since the right-wing New Democracy Party took power, Greece has accelerated deportations and denied asylum claims at record rates. Refugee camps on Greek islands are overcrowded, under-resourced, and increasingly resemble detention centers. More than 23,000 asylum applications from Muslim refugees have been frozen. Local populations view migrants as economic burdens rather than displaced people seeking refuge. And the Greek government has increasingly made it absolutely clear the days of Greece serving as the entryway into Europe among migrants is now officially over. Finally, the nation of Italy. Under Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's nationalist populist government, Italy has slashed arrivals by nearly half through aggressive deals with northern African countries. They've detained asylum seekers for up to 2 years while processing claims. They've weakened immigration policies, and they've deported imams for comments made at political rallies. Between January of 2023 and July of 2024, Italy expelled 130 people for state security, and they arrested 36 extremists. Despite 1.5 million Muslims living there, Italy still does not officially recognize Islam, as a legitimate and legally protected religion. And there's no signs that that's going to change anytime soon. Now, here's what ties all of this together. These countries aren't acting in isolation. Back in October of 2024, just a month before Trump came to office, 17 EU member states signed a joint letter calling for a paradigm shift in deportation practices. They wanted to weaken legal protections for migrants and make deportations easier. And in response, the EU committed 2.5 billion euros to border security and return agreements with third countries. This isn't simply about security. It's about demographics. It's about identity. And it's about a fundamental question these countries are asking. What does it mean to be European? With the rise of what's called civilizational populism, these are the questions that are being asked with far more frequency than ever. As fast as Europe's Muslim population may be growing on the continent, it appears that the populist response is growing even faster. Nationalist movements are surging, and governments are responding with policies designed not to integrate, but to exclude, not to welcome, but to expel. The era of Europe housing the world appears to have come to a decisive end. If these nations have anything to do with it, a new era of reawakened European identity has dawned. If today's message resonated with you, you'll love Turley Walks, my free preview of the Courageous Patriot Club. More stories, more perspective, more community focused on faith, family, and freedom. And it's absolutely free. Go to turley.pub/turleywalks.